Ted Cruz was chased out of a restaurant. You want to generate sympathy for Ted Cruz? All you have to do is unleash a bunch of nasty leftists on him. So he went to a restaurant in the Washington, D.C. area, apparently, and he was immediately chased out of the restaurant by a bunch of lefties who were screaming at him.
We believe survivors! We believe survivors! We believe survivors! We believe survivors! We believe survivors!
Beto is way hotter than you do.
We believe survivors! We believe survivors! We believe survivors!
God bless you, Taylor!
Let my wife through.
We believe survivors!
Okay, so he's there with his wife, and they're not letting his wife through, and they're trying to impede her path. Just really classy folks. These folks are just classy. This is smash racism, DC, because obviously this has to do with racism for some odd reason that nobody knows. So there are a bunch of videos around this. Apparently, one shows a woman who identified herself as a constituent and a survivor of sexual assault. Said, "I'd love to talk with you about Brett Kavanaugh. I'm a constituent. Love to know what your vote is going to be. I know you're very close friends with Mr. Kavanaugh. Do you believe survivors, sir?" Again, this is such a stupid question. Do you believe survivors? I believe survivors when there's evidence to back their case. I'm not saying I don't believe survivors when there's not evidence, but I don't have enough evidence to say I fully believe them. I can say I find their account credible, but I can't say I fully believe every detail of that account without any corroborative evidence from 30 years ago. I can't do that. Okay, because it's a leading question. It's a circular question. Do you believe survivors assumes the truth of the accusation? Right? I mean, because you're saying she's a survivor, so that means that the accusation is by necessity true. That's saying, like, do you believe the account of a Holocaust survivor? Yes, because you called them a Holocaust survivor. Hey, do I believe the account of Richard Blumenthal that he served in Vietnam? No, right? Because he wasn't telling the truth about all of that. So it depends on the account that's being stated. Do you believe survivors it's not a properly formed question, as we might say in the legal profession. It is an improperly formed question. The question is, do you believe every allegation of sexual assault ever made by a woman? That is the question that actually is to be asked. And the answer to that, obviously, should be no. Because there are some accusations that are not true, or people misremember, or they get the facts wrong. But that means that we have to run Ted Cruz out of a restaurant. And people on the left will say, well, that's good. Ted Cruz deserves it. You got to live out your values in public life. The idea that we're going to extend all of this to public life, you want a worse country? We're getting it right here.